Nothing says punk rock like marketing and branding. So today, we're gonna take a look at the #1 pop punk band's logos that they have used over the last 30 years. This is how Blink-182 decided to identify themselves to the public. Hey ladies, how's it going? Dan Frampton here, and today we're gonna scrutinize some designs, we're gonna nitpick some compositions. Before Blink-182, or even Blink-182, they were just Blink. And they recorded Flyswatter in Scott's bedroom. You're like, who's Scott? I don't know Scott. Scott's not part of the Blink-182 that I know. Well, Scott, my friend, was their first drummer. So get your fist out of your ass and become a true fan. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard this thing. I guess I'm not really a true fan and I gotta get the fist out of my own ass. But this thing came out on the record label F Slurs in the Wilderness. But instead of F slurs, it's the actual F slur. And it just goes to show you how different the world has become since the year 1993. But I don't care about the artwork here. I don't care about how they recorded it. I don't care about the process. Apparently, it wasn't mixed, it wasn't mastered, and it sounds like total shit. That sounds like it's right down my alley. But all I care about is the logo. So we're gonna look over here at the logo, and it's just this purple and yellow number. And I like how those colors like contrast against one another. Big fan of that. That's pretty sick. I like how all the letters are different sizes and it looks like it was written by a 3-year-old. Big fan of all that. Very juvenile. It's not the greatest logo, but I love how it is clearly designed in crayon, so that's giving it a B ranking for me. Okay, next up we're going to discuss their record, Buddha. And the logo that they used here looks like it's on the back of a Chinese food menu. I do not like this thing. This thing is uninspired. They're like, hey, let's call our thing Buddha for some reason. And because of that, that's like an Asian thing, right? So let's do like an Asian logo. And I don't think that it's like appropriate at all. And I don't think that it's fun or fresh or cool. I'm not really offended by it by like a cultural appropriation type standard or whatever, but I just think it's ugly as hell. Not only is it ugly as hell, I don't think it really represents Blink-182 that well. So Blink-182 Buddha logo, D tier. The next album cycle for this band of snot-filled miscreants was Cheshire Cat, and they went for a very simplistic look here. It's not too overstated, and in my opinion, it's too understated. I do like how these ugly colors, the greens and the yellows, work together, but I think that they could have did something a little better than just choose a font, you know? So yeah, I do find it a little bit uninspired, but the record is a meat and potatoes type record, and this is a meat and potatoes type logo, so I think that's okay. That's a mid-tier logo as far as I'm concerned. Before we leave this era, I want to talk about the Blink-182 rabbit. I don't consider the Blink-182 rabbit to be a logo. I see it more as like a mascot, I guess. I don't know why they stopped using it, but I'm gonna recklessly speculate here that they stopped using it because of its similarities to the Circle Jerk Skankin' Man. But I don't know anything that I'm ever talking about, so don't believe me there, I don't know. I'm not gonna officially rank this rabbit, but if I were to do that, S tier all the way. Okay, now we're gonna move on to my personal favorite Blink-182 record. To this day, I think that Dude Ranch really holds up. And if you're familiar with that album cover, it's like a bull's ass, and this logo is just branded as if it's like a branding iron on that ass. The logo really does look like something that you would find on a branding iron, but my only problem with it is that Blink-182 is not like a farm type band. They're not a country band, they're not a band that you would normally find on a ranch. So without any of the context, and because they weren't global superstars at the time of this release, I think that this logo is a little bit confusing. It's confusing and plain, but it's well designed and kind of iconic. I think it's mid-tier, but maybe top of the mid-tier. Okay, now it's the album cycle that blew the shit up on Blink-182. We're gonna be talking about the Enema of the State album cycle and the pill logo. Look at this thing. This thing is designed like a suppository. The whole thing was about enemas and putting things up your butt, and even the logo fell into that. I think that that theme is very good, especially for a band like Blink-182. I think this is the most dialed in that their aesthetic has ever been, and it all revolves around butts. You gotta love it. And in my opinion, this suppository type logo is not only their best logo of all time, it's one of the best rock and roll logos to ever exist. S tier, easily. Very memorable. I love the way that it contrasts. You can tell this thing is the Blink-182 suppository logo from a million miles away. To this day, people are still putting that thing up their butts. Take off your pants and jacket. No, that's not instructions. That's the name of this record. It was called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and this album came out in 3 colors: red, yellow, and green. One with the pants, one's with a jacket, and one's with a takeoff. The ones with the takeoff was like an airplane. Very creative. And by the time that they put this record out, they were mainstream mainstays because of how successful Enema of the State was. And this record, also very thematic, and the logo really does fall into place with all that. It's very clean and timeless, but it's not their best ever. It's actually kind of just a B-tier logo. Where are you? Now it's time to talk about the self-titled era of this dumb band, and this is the ugliest logo that they have ever conceived. Not only is it their ugliest logo, I don't know how this is a logo to begin with. This thing sucks ass. You can't read this thing. It's totally illegible. They have both letters over top of each other, and it's all like janky, and I hate it. This is no good. I know the aesthetic they're going for. It's like that ransom note type thing and typewriter type thing combined, and together it's just too much. It's a hat on a hat on a hat. Too many gimmicks going on here. Very ugly, not a fan. So if you couldn't tell, I'm putting that thing way down in the F tier. But unlike the Blink-182 Rabbit, I do consider this happy face concoction to be a logo, and it came in conjunction with that last atrocity that I just showed you. Now if you're a rock band doing a happy face logo and you're not Nirvana, get the fuck out of here. But I gotta give credit where credit is due. This thing is very memorable. This thing is gonna stand the test of time. This thing is what a lot of people just associate with what Blink-182 is. And the fact that they did it 3 albums after they blew up is a testament to how great it kind of is, right? The Blink-182 Happy Face logo doesn't do a lot for me, but it is higher than a mid-tier, unfortunately. I do think it does land itself right here in the B column. Hit the road, Tom DeLonge. We're gonna invite in Matt Skiba and record this totally lifeless record called California. And to combine with that totally lifeless record, we're gonna put with it a totally lifeless logo. We're just gonna find a new font, hit all caps, and that's gonna be the end of that. This logo is lazy. This logo is uninspired. It's not even a good font. It's not memorable. It's not gonna last the test of time. No one's gonna be able to tell that it's even a logo taken out of context. This thing is also F tier. And that's where we gotta have this debate in the F tier. What's worse? Something that is totally lazy and uninspired, or something that is overly conceived and super ugly? Depending on how you feel any given day, these can alternate places. And then next up, we got the Blink-182 9 scratch logo, which came out on their album called 9, which was their 9th record, which is totally uninspired. But this logo is actually pretty cool and very versatile. It looks very nice here in neon, and it would also look good scratched in with like ink, with paint, with whatever. This is a pretty cool logo. I could see this on a t-shirt. I can see this on a sticker. This thing is great. It's not really super distinct, and the silhouette isn't all that. But I'm recording this thing a little bit after the fact because I, to be honest with you, forgot to rank this thing. So I'm not going to show it to you on the tier list, and it's going to be omitted for the rest of the list. You're going to be like, it disappeared. Where'd you put it? But you gotta believe me that I say that this thing is an A-tier logo. If this video was made a year ago, it would end right here. But you know that that's not the case because they just put out a song called Edging. They just released a world tour and a record, and along with all that, you know they dropped a hot, fresh, steaming load of logo. And I will say, I gotta love it. The stencil aesthetic, big fan. The different sizes of the letters, but not only that, some of them are caps and some of them are small, big fan. Compositionally, it looks really, really great. Only time will tell if it's as timeless as the Suppository logo, but for my money, I'm cranking that right in the A tier. So that's it. That's the definitive ranking of the Blink-182 logos. What do you think? What are your favorite logos? What are your least favorite logos? Sound off down below. But before you get out of here, you gotta like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a video, which is pretty much every single day at this point. I want to thank all the new viewers, all the new subscribers. You guys mean the world to me. This is so sick to have you around. If you're enjoying these videos, just share them with your friends or whatever. That'd be pretty sick. But until my next upload, I hope you have a great day and watch another upload.